But I didn't go home and do a written quote for this dude. I know a lot of you guys would have went home and went to the computer and put you a nice little written quote together for $500 or $600 or whatever. But while you was doing all that, I've been and made the money and moved on to the next job. You know, if your customer, and this is just, you know, I got this damn old disclaimer. If your customer wants you to do work for a good price and to beat the competition, then they got to help you do that by not demanding all these little time-consuming things, such as a written quote. Now, if it's a $10,000 job, it's different, you know. But I'm over here. We're gonna do $600 on that one job on the spur of the moment. What do you do then? What do you do about your quote then? How does the quote work then? I mean, I don't know, man. I'm just saying, man. Just saying, y'all. We ain't playing. We're gonna be at $1,100, give or take. Shoot. By one. Really, it's more than that. I'll get $1,100 today, but another $100 is for his lawn, so it's really going to be $1,200 because he's not going to pay me for the lawn today. That's an automatic thing, like I was telling y'all. Yeah, man. 67 degrees. See, when it's cool like this, boy, you can just do a lot more work, man. I can, and I feel like doing a lot more work. A written quote on the lawn. Kidding me? I'm curious, do y'all do written quotes on the lawn, on the lawn care? Like, if you're going to take on if I take on a customer, say somebody calls me out of the blue, and I don't get a lot of that to do the lawn care. Usually when somebody calls me to do their lawn care, it's a customer's done referred me, or it's the neighbor of somebody I've been doing for a long time. So I'm curious what everybody else does, because, well, you never can tell what some of these YouTube guys talk about. They don't never really, you know, talk about some of the stuff that I probably talk about. I don't know. But I wonder if most of you guys, if your customer of 5 years, say, refers you to her mother, say, right? And her mother calls you and says, hey, I need somebody to do my lawn. And first thing I ask, are you looking for a regular thing? That's the first thing I ask. So when they call me, they'll say, hi, Ray, my name is blah, 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 and blah, 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 refer me to you. I'm like, oh, yeah, how you doing? And so I need somebody to do my lawn. And the first thing I'll ask them, are you looking for somebody regular or a one-time cut? And that's going to determine how everything goes from that point on. If they say a one-time cut, then I'm going to have to look at everything. I'm going to look at the location, how long it's been since it was cut, and all that. And I'm going to ask her all these questions. Where are you at? You know, blah, blah, blah. And if it's in the middle of the season, I'm probably not even going to do it. Unless it just happens to be next door to a property I'm already doing or something. You know, it's got to be friendly. It's got to make sense to me. But, so they say, yeah, I'm looking for somebody to do it regular. And I'll say, okay, what's the address? And they'll give me the address. And I'll say, okay, I'll usually say, let me get done today, because usually I'm in the middle of some stuff. Let me get done today, and I'll take a look at it, and, you know, from Google Earth or whatever, or I'll come by there if, you know, if I have to. But I won't go by there unless I absolutely have to. And then so I'll look at it from the Google Earth, and a lot of times the properties are in neighborhoods I've already been in and I'm already in. So I'll know the kind of the lay of the land in that neighborhood, if you will. So I'll say like, well, I'll call them that evening after I'm looking at the Google Earth tax records and all. I'll call them and I'll be looking at it. I'll even go to the street side view and look at it. And I'll be like, okay. And then if they tell me they up in some kind of neighborhood like Summer Grove or some of the smaller neighborhoods, I'm gonna go on and tell them I'm not going. I don't service that area. But if they're not, play it on out. So if they're not, and they're gonna say, okay, when can you come look at it? I said, well, let me call you tonight when I get done, so I can be sitting at my computer and I can kind of look at everything and blah blah blah. And I said, okay. And so then I'll go home, get off work, and I'll make a mental note of it, you know, when I'm talking to them. And then I'll go home and I'll invoice for the day, and then I'll be sitting there eating my Sammy, and I'll look up that address real quick. A lot of times I'll already know about where it's at. And then based on that is what I'll charge to cut it. I'll look at the county tax site, and then I'll also look at the Google Earth street side view, and that'll tell me a lot, you know, the area it's in too. So then I can say, well, I can do it, you know, those properties over there or whatever, they're in the $80 range, you know, something like that. And then based on what they say from that point on, that'll be when I know if they are even a candidate for me to work for them. You gotta pass my screening. See, everybody likes to look at, you know, the people hiring you gotta pass their screening. See, I flip that crap around. They gotta pass my screening as well. I understand I gotta pass theirs, but they gotta pass mine too. Just because they got money don't mean I'm gonna want to work for them. So I'll tell her, okay, why don't we then? I'll be looking at it, and I'll say, okay, does it need cutting now? When was the last time it was cut? And she'll say, you know, well, it needs it now, or 2 weeks from now, or whatever. They just cut it. My son-in-law just cut it. Blah blah whatever. And I'll say, okay, so I can do it. Well, what I'll do is I'll look at my calendar and I'll look at where the location of where it's at, and I'll be doing all this figuring while I'm talking to her. And I might not be explaining everything just right. And then what I'll do is as I'm talking to her, I'll be saying, okay, that'd be good to add that one on that route. And so then I'll say, okay, I can do it for the $80, $90 range, something like that. And if they say, oh, you know, then I'll say, okay, well, I'm gonna need to come look at it. If they say okay in the $80, $90 range, then I'll go over there when I'm on that route. I'll go over there, and if I'll do it, and I'll talk to them and meet with them and all that, with the ability to do the property at that point in time. I do not go look at long properties before I do them. The only time I look at them is when I'm pulling up to do them, if it's just about us agreeing on a hardcore number. Now, if you're doing hard quotes and paper quotes and all that, well, that don't give you a whole lot of room to wiggle. You know, I ain't trying to wiggle my way, and I ain't trying to let them wiggle their way. I'm just trying to make it where I don't have to spend gas, energy, time, and effort driving over there to look at a $70 property or $80 property, whatever. I don't want to take the time to do that. Because while you're doing that and printing all your stuff out to be all pretty, I done cut 3 yards. See, I done made $190, $200 while you're doing that. That's why we're able to do such high volume, because I don't spend a bunch of time tire kicking, and I don't spend a bunch of time with tire kickers. I'm not going to go out of my way to go over there and look at the project for a $60 or $70, $80 lawn. I'm not. Now, if they demand that I do, then, you know, I'll say, okay, well, I'll have to incorporate it into my day when I'm over that way. And that'll be, and I'll be looking at my schedule, and that'll be, I can come by there on Tuesday and take a look at it while I'm over on this route. You know, that's my thinking. And then sometimes they'll say, oh, it can't wait that long. And I'll say, well, I don't know what, I'll be like, well, I don't have time to come over there and look at it right now. If you want to commit to, based on what I'm seeing, commit to $80 or $90 range, then we can do that. And then a lot of times, if they had somebody else that was cutting it, I ask them, I said, well, what happened to the other lawn care guy? That's another thing. And then they'll say, oh, he quit showing up, blah, 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 blah. And then I'll be like, okay. If you don't mind me asking, since I don't know these people, never met them before, if you don't mind me asking, how much was you paying them? And then sometimes they'll tell you, and then sometimes they won't. Well, we were paying him good. I mean, I need a number. How much was you actually paying him? Then I can kind of, well, he was doing it for 40, and then I'm gonna be looking at my the property on my computer there, and I'm gonna be talking on the phone at the same time. And I'm gonna be looking at the Google Earth image, and I'm gonna be doing all that's gonna pre-process at the same time. And I'm gonna be saying, and I'm gonna say something like, well, I see why he stopped coming. That property's pretty big for $40. I'm gonna be at 80. Because if somebody can do it for 40 and make money at it, then I know I can do it for 80 and make money at it. Even if I only had to do it one time. And if I take a small hit the one time, it ain't gonna be no more of a hit than what it would have cost me to go look at it to begin with. You see what I'm saying? And that's how I do high volume and keep my numbers friendly. And I do have a disclaimer in case y'all didn't know. You don't have to do it like that. But I don't waste time. I do not. That's the biggest thing when you're an entrepreneur out here, if you're me. I do not want to waste time looking at properties and getting into deep conversations about what people want to do on their property, and all that when they're calling me to do the lawn, maintenance. When I get over there and do the property, then we can talk about tree trimming, bushes, and all that. But I want to be earning when I pull up over there off the Muskell, or potential to earn. I ain't going to go look at it 3 o'clock in the afternoon just to see if I want to be able to do it or not. Spend an hour and a half and $30 in fuel. No, not me. And if I leave money on the table like that, then that's just, I guess I will. But I've found that usually the money that I'm charging them, even if it is low, well, or whatever, and I get over now, I'm like, damn, man, this is a lot bigger than I thought. Well, it's never bigger than what it would have cost me to come over there and look at it and not make no money and then come back. I might be off $10, $15, but then what I'll do is I'll tell them, oh, I can't do the property for 80 no more, or I can do it for 80, but after doing it one time and I see you got this and that, then I'm gonna come in at 90. And that first time, I'll take that $10 hit, which is the same as paying for fuel to get over there to go quote it. Just saying. I know I'm talking fast.